My first trip to the Arctic was with Senator Murkowski, and you can see why. And there was a very earnest request from the Greenlandic parliamentarians for dialogue and for continued dialogue, which I very much hope Senator Murkowski and others among us will continue to facilitate. Elizabeth, did you have a question?
Elizabeth Miller from the New York Times. As you know, Donald Trump has said that he wants to own or take over Greenland because, quote, that's what I feel is psychologically needed for success. I mean, right now, you're a part of a delegation that is engaging in traditional diplomacy, reassuring an ally. You are doing what has traditionally been done for years and years in a crisis like this. But given that Donald Trump seems to have a psychological need for Greenland, which he says, how can you counter that with traditional methods, especially when so far publicly there have been minimal Republicans opposing this?
Well, Elizabeth, thank you for the question. I can't speak to President Trump's psychological needs. That's really not my goal here. Your question, though, is repeating something he has said. I'll say this. One of the things that's been made clear to us is that the people of Denmark are very anxious, are quite concerned, and the people of Greenland even more so, and that this current tone and tempo of statements about acquisition is not constructive. I think I speak for every senator and House member here in that we deeply value NATO, and that this 80-year-old alliance, this partnership, has been absolutely critical to the United States' security and prosperity and success. I was at the NATO summit, as was Senator Shaheen, Senator Tillis, and others. This was a remarkably successful NATO summit last year at The Hague. NATO has dramatically stepped forward. Denmark, the Kingdom of Denmark, is now spending 3.2% of its GDP on security. NATO, in some ways, should be celebrated and embraced as being stronger than ever. Greenland is a part of Denmark. Denmark is our NATO ally. That should be the end of this discussion, in my view, because I think to do or say anything that puts at risk our trustworthiness as an ally is fundamentally strategically dangerous for the United States. So in recent conversations with ambassadors from other countries, from the Indo-Pacific, from throughout the world, if we do or say things as a nation, and I'm speaking as a senator, if I do or say something that causes a close and trusted NATO ally, there is almost no better ally to the United States than Denmark. If we do things that cause Danes to question whether we can be counted on as a NATO ally, why would any other country seek to be our ally or believe in our representations? In terms of my psychological needs, knowing that the United States is a respected and trusted ally and partner around the world is a core part of what, speaking for myself, I'm trying to accomplish. And, you know, I'll let others in the delegation disagree if you do, but I think a lot of our security as a nation has rested on our being trustworthy. We're the Article I branch. We are having active conversations amongst ourselves about what is the wisest course of action. If nothing else, I think de-escalating the level, tone, and frequency of rhetoric around this and injecting some reality about what are the actual circumstances of the security threats. There are no current security threats to Greenland. How can we best navigate Arctic security together with NATO? And how can we best navigate access to newly emergent resources around the world together? Those are conversations that we intend to continue when we get back to Washington.
But I will speak as the sole Republican that's standing here at this moment, because you have suggested that this is a partisan issue. Support for our friends and allies, whether they be the Kingdom of Denmark or others, should not be a partisan issue. And I think it's going to be important for us as members, not as Democrats or as Republicans, but for us as members of Congress who have been here at this moment in time to return to Washington to speak to all of our colleagues and those in the administration about what we have heard, what we have shared, so that there is, again, greater understanding. We cannot allow this to become